How do you measure success? What does success mean to you in your life? It's different for all of us, isn't it? A lot of people measure success based on how well they do in business or in their career. Or some people base it on the quality of their relationships or their marriage. Some people base it on how much they can amass and achieve. And some people measure it based on the experiences they have and the people they meet and the things that they do throughout their life. We measure it all in different ways. For me, the truth about success was I was constantly chasing it. I never got to a place where I actually felt successful. And it took me years to realize that the reason that that was happening was because I never felt like I was enough. And so I would work hard. I would make sacrifices. I would do everything that was required to achieve success. Success in business, to look like my life looked really well on the outside, that I was achieving success. I had the house, the cars, all those sort of things that, anyone would look back at and go, wow, Brian's done really well. He seems like he's doing really well. They're doing really well. But the truth is, I never felt like I was enough. And so I was constantly chasing this next level of success. And the reason I was because I was seeking validation and approval from others because I didn't feel like I was enough. And I know that this is true of a lot of men, that we are driven by external validation. We only feel like we're doing good enough or that we are enough when we hear it from other people. When people say you've done a good job, people say, nice one, way to go. Wow, look how well you're doing. You must be really proud of yourself. And all these things that along the way when we achieve things, it feels good for a moment. But the thing is, it never comes from inside of you. And that was always the case for me for most of my life. I was constantly chasing success. But here's the thing that I've learned about success is if it's based on external validation, it's always going to normalize and you'll be back on the treadmill chasing the next thing because you're constantly looking for approval from people around you. And here's the thing, is that it's okay to want to feel needed. It's okay to know that you matter and that people care. That's important to all of us. That's called feeling significant, but there's a difference between feeling significant and being driven by insignificance to want to get that validation to feel like you're enough. Because when you don't feel like you're enough as a man, then you feel incompetent as a person. And that's just a fact. And I know this because I've worked with hundreds of men and they all have the same story. They all tell the same tale of wanting to do everything within their power to make everyone else around them happy so that they can feel like they're enough. But yet at the end of the day, their tank is empty. Their cup is not full. And this goes on and on and on for years. And so it's no surprise that so many of us men, especially entrepreneurs and business owners, you just keep trying harder and harder and harder. And we often focus on our shortcomings and the things that didn't go right than the things that we did do right, the things that we saw through to the end, the things that we fought for that came at a price. We never celebrate those things because there's a part of us that feels like we need someone else to validate us, someone else to say we did well. But like I said, that never lasts. We're always off searching for that next approval, that next person to come along, give us that pat on the back. And yes, it's important to all of us. In fact, it's said that men won't die for money, but they'll die for medals. And it comes back to my point that we all want to feel like we're enough. We all want to be valued and appreciated. But when it doesn't resonate, when it doesn't sink, when it doesn't matter enough to you to really last and become part of your identity so that you really know who you are, well, then you're going to just get caught up in that need to go chase more approval, on and on and on, and it goes. And that didn't end for me until I realized that success without depth is empty. No matter what I did, no matter how hard I tried, no matter how much I achieved, it was never enough. I always felt like I came up short on some level because I was comparing myself to others. I was wondering what other people were thinking. And I was always looking at where I thought I should be instead of how far I had come. And this is so true of so many people who experience this feeling of not being good enough. Because, as men, when we don't feel like we're good enough, then it also feels like we're not good enough to be loved and appreciated. And when that happens, It's just this never-ending hamster wheel of going out and achieving and proving, going out, achieving and approval. And it never stops. I spent so many years convinced that I wasn't trying hard enough, that I wasn't hitting the mark enough, that I should have been more successful by now in my life at different times throughout my life. And I used to look around and compare myself to everybody else and see what they were doing. And that was the benchmark. I never measured myself against who I was and what I was capable of doing and what I had achieved. And this is true of so many of us. But the truth is, that's just a story. It's a story you're telling yourself based on events that happened throughout your life that have shaped you into the man that you are today. But it doesn't have to be the truth unless you decide it is, because you can change the story about who you believe you are today and really step back and really look at your life and think about how far you've actually come, how much you've sacrificed, how hard you have worked to get yourself to where you are, and learn to become proud of that and celebrate those things and understand that the value that you place within yourself has to come from you, not from the external world. And so whatever it is, something has caused you to feel like you need the approval of the external world and the people around you. And as nice as that is, it's got to come from you. What you need to do is step back, take a moment, and really reflect on your life and think about how hard you have worked, how much you've sacrificed, and how far you've come, and everything that you've been through and the price that you've paid to get where you are. And ask yourself, are you really enough? Well, chances are you are more than enough. And if you feel like you're not, then it's very simple. The question is, what are you doing in your life right now? Are you giving up on yourself, or are you leaning in and stepping up and becoming the man that you need to be for yourself and for the people around you? Or is there a part of you that just feels like you're exhausted and you feel like sometimes you just want to give up and throw in the towel because you're just tired of that constant pressure? Well, you can change that. It's about changing the story and changing the narrative up here and creating a vision, a bigger one than you might have in your life right now. And that's where it starts, is taking a step back and evaluating your life and thinking about where you're at and where you go, where you want to go, not where you think you're going to end up. And if you feel that anything that I shared here today resonated with you and helped you in some way to help you get some clarity, then feel free to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this.